Hey guys, so my name is Anna Echoes and I'm doing a PowerPoint on specific learning disabilities, also known as SLD. So we're just going to go straight into it. So the definition of specific learning disabilities is that the disability can be really small. You really can't tell that if a student has it or a child has it, but when the child is taking a math test or an English test or a reading test or science, um, that's when the teacher is able to notice that the child has a deficiency in being able to take those classes. It also includes disorders of ADHD, information processing, lack of cognitive strategies, memory difficulties, or all language difficulties. It also includes poor gross motor skills or fine motor skills, psychological processing deficits, quantitative disabilities, reading disorders, social and emotional challenges, or written languages problems. And that's for the written languages problems, I think that's more so of like foreign language. Okay, so what do people say about what do people say SLD is? Well, the Illinois State Board of Education says that it means that there is an behavior disorder in one or more of the basic psychological processes that involve understanding or in using language, spoken or written, that may manifest itself in an imperfect ability to listen, think, speak, read, write, spell, or do mathematical calculations, including such conditions as perceptual disabilities, brain injury, minimal brain dysfunction, dyslexia, and developmental aphasia. How do you test? So the Illinois State Board of Education says that starting from the year of 2010 and 2011, the school year that the Illinois districts are now required to use a process that will determine how the child responds to the scientific research-based interventions. This will be a part of the evaluation procedures to determine the special education eligibility under SLD. And what are the top 6 learning disabilities? Well, I named some of them. One is ADHD, speech language impairment, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, and processing learning deficits. So now I'm going to go into each of those 6 different learning disabilities. So the first one is ADHD. ADHD is actually very common in children. The book Psychology Applied to Teaching says that the estimate of the extent to which these conditions co-occur ranges from 25 to 40%. The book also says that 6 to 11-year-olds have only ADHD, but boys tend to have it more than girls do, which makes the ratio 2 to 1. Kids with ADHD are also more aggressive. They tend to fight, steal, lie, vandalize. Symptoms are inattention, easily getting distracted, hyperactivity, and being impulsive. ADHD is also comorbid, which means that there's like another disability that comes with it. But there are treatments for kids who have ADHD. One is prescribed medication. There's also school-based psychology programs and multimodal programs. Okay, so the next one is speech or language impairment. This is a communication disorder. Symptoms is stuttering, impaired articulation, a language impairment, or a voice impairment. It affects the child's performance, And there are sites to look at for this learning disability. So we have the Illinois Speech Language Hearing Association and the American Speech Language Association. American Speech Language Hearing Association. And we also have the Speech Language Pathology Services. And all of these services hold activities such as screening, diagnosis, and appraisal of specific speech and language impairments. You can also identify children who have it. This also has a referral and follow-up for medical or professional attention, so you continually will have to do like doctor appointments and follow-up appointments on this impairment. This is necessary for the habilitation of speech and language impairments. There's also for treatments for this. There's interventions, programs, and counseling for students, parents, and teachers. So yeah, that's the second one. The third one is dyslexia. This is a severe reading disability. Symptoms are difficulty in understanding the relationship between sounds and letters, difficulty with phonological awareness, difficulty in recognizing the correspondence between different specific sounds and curtain letters that makes up the word. There's also phonological awareness. That means that this is a possible explanation for the reading programs of some students with learning disabilities. Another thing about dyslexia is that there's like a letter sound recognition. Sorry, I can't talk. The letter sound recognition that is impaired. And you also have to be aware of the phonemic awareness, which is the ability to recognize that words consist of sounds, or phonemes, which is a small unit of sound that is found in spoken language. The fourth one of the top 6 specific learning disability is dyscalculia. The article cognitive and emotional math problems largely dissociate prevalence of developmental dyscalculia and mathematics anxiety, who is written by Amy Devine, Francesca Hill, Emma Carey, and Denise Suzek. They said that children with a developmental dyscalculia, also known as DD, behind their peers in mathematics performance, but otherwise their general cognitive ability, reading, and writing skills are normal. The causal origins of DD are unknown, but several existing theories that suggest DD is related to the impairment of one or many possible cognitive functions. The mathematics performance cutoff used for identification of DD in research varies considerably across international studies, from performance below the 3rd percentile to performance below the 25th percentile. Examples of these are the magnitude of representation, working memory, inhibition, special skills, or phonological ability. Come on. Okay. What am I on? What one was that? 4? 2. Yeah, so now I'm on the 5th one, which is dysgraphia. This is the physical act of writing. If a student cannot hold a pen or the pencil the right way, or the posture may be tense trying to write, this would lead the student to get tired easily, or even cause discouragement that can keep the progress going. Symptoms of this are difficulty writing expressions. The student will also have trouble organizing the thoughts. So when it comes to writing it's like really unnecessary. The effects of educational Media, this is an article, the effects of educational multimedia and dictation difficulty says that when it comes to helping those who have dysgraphia be able to write again using educational multimedia, they say that there should be specialized learning procedures that are vital in assisting such students. Educational multimedia can utilize effect strategies in teaching dictation to students with these dictation difficulties by relying on the individual, interactive, and personal requirements of each student. Next, we have the processing deficits. This is the last one of the top 6 learning disabilities. This is trouble making of sensory data. This makes it difficult for the students to perform in a normal classroom without the teacher's support. And symptoms are hearing, seeing, and remembering information. I would definitely say, as you can tell as I have been speaking, I have a little struggle with talking. I actually do have a speech language impairment because I had this disability when I was a child. When I was born prematurely, and because of that, I had to stay in the hospital for 10 days. And during those 10 days, one of my feeding tubes had the fluid that got inside of my ears. So, of course, as I got older, obviously I can't tell my parents as a baby that I have fluid inside my ears, you need to go take care of this. I can't say that. I'm a baby. So, of course, as I got older, my hearing got messed up. But, however, the only way I could communicate with my parents was by reading their lips, or anybody in the house was by reading their lips. However, when it comes to reading their lips, number one, they have to repeat it multiple times, like over and over and over again. Otherwise, I don't know what you're saying. Another thing, if their backs are turned to me, then you don't expect me to say anything because I can't hear or see you. I can't even read your lips, so obviously I cannot respond. But if you are facing towards me, then I can respond. So, of course, when the way it happened was that I remember this. We were going on our way to go to bowling, and we were in the car. And I think my brother and my sister were in the car with us. And I think my parents were asking me something to do something, or asking me if I want something. I don't know. And I couldn't respond. I couldn't respond because I couldn't hear them, and I couldn't see their faces. They literally were. My dad was driving, and my mom was in the passenger seat. How do you expect me to respond? But so because I couldn't respond, normally if I have like my headphones in my ears and I'm listening to music, my sister will tap on me if my mom is trying to tell me something, and she'll say, "Hey," and she'll point forward. So she did that, and she kept doing it, and my every single time they would say it, I'm like, "What? What?" Like I was making that face, like I can't hear you. What? And this is me. Like I was a child. I didn't have headphones in my ears at this time. Like my ears were like how they are now. They were open. And so that was like a signal that obviously I was deaf. So my parents was not able to notice that. That was when I was almost 6 years old. So it was almost 6 years that I had been deaf. So of course after they found out, they went in and had me get ear surgery so that I could hear again. So now I can hear now. I did have tubes in my ears when they did the ear surgery, and then they took it out. I still have moments where I can't hear. Like after I eat food, I have to do this in order to get my ear back open. But let me just say, it's better than it was before. A lot better. So, I was able to hear myself when I got my hearing back. And I was able to hear my voice. And I hated it. Like, I hated it. Because I was like, I sound weird. And because I wasn't able to hear myself for 6 years, I was not surprised that my speech was a little messed up. So, of course, my teachers would try to work on my speech by having me read out loud in class. And I hated it because I would get bullied for it, but I'm like, now that I look back, I'm like, thank God that they had me do that because now I'm where I am today. So, I, the older I got, the better I got. I definitely would say, sorry, I'm trying, technology is not working with me today. I would definitely say that the experiences I went through, obviously, like, God made me go through those experiences in order to help others. This is why I am now a special ed major. It's because I know, especially in high school, I know what they're going through. I know what's going on in their minds. I know that they're, like, when I was in high school, I was questioning, why am I this way? Why do I have to go to another school to go take a math and English because I can't take it here? Why can't I be just like everybody else? But obviously, the path that I went on is not a path for me to just keep it to myself. Obviously, it's a path for me to help others help others and tell them, hey, yeah, it was a struggle, but guess what happened in the end? Like, I graduated 8th grade, I graduated high school, and I'm going to graduate college. So, honestly, whatever disability you have, it will not define you in the end because you can still be successful. So, anyway, that's pretty much my personal. But another way that helped me get my speech back on track was that my speech therapist in 8th grade had me read to kindergartners. This was fun. She had me read to the kindergartners every Monday and Wednesday in a book in the reading level, and I was able to create a relationship with those little kids, which I loved. It was so much fun. And so on Fridays, when it was time to do praise and worship, I went to a Christian school. When it was time to do praise and worship for chapel, because I was in a Christian school, they would be screaming my name. Like, literally, like, they would come in and be like, ah! And I'm like, hi. And even in high school, I was able to be at a point where people don't know that I have a speech problem until until there's a day that I'm talking too fast or I'm not thinking before I speak. But other than that, I tell them and they're like, wait, you have a speech problem? I didn't even know that. And I'm like, yes, I do. But the thing is, I have strategies that I go by that helps me. So I think before I speak. When I'm doing interviews, I write down what I want to say and I practice it. Excuse me. I also breathe. Like, if I'm like excited, like really excited, I go, okay. Like, I had to take like a breath and like really think about what I want to say and not have my brain go faster than my mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. But I can honestly say that although my specific learning disability was huge and they can affect in others, children's specific learning disability is huge. It can affect a child's learning, but they don't actually end up having it for long because I started when I started my speech problem, and I had speech therapy from when I was probably 6, probably when it like started, when after I got my surgery and I started speaking, 6 years old to 17 years old. That's a long time. Um, that definitely helped because now when I'm in college and I took a speech class and I'm doing my speeches, I got an A in that class. When I obviously it's not gonna be, you won't end up having it for so long. SLD is not going to be there for a long time. Yes, you will still have some days where you're struggling to talk. Yes. But it won't be it won't be as much of a struggle as it was in the beginning when you started it. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, the child will be able to have ways to cope with their SLD, just like I did when I developed my strategies in order to get over what I had. It helped. So the child will be able to come up with their SLD, and it doesn't just have to be them alone. It could be the speech therapist, it could be the parents, it could be the teachers. Everybody will come together to help the child come over that SLD. And it will also help them get through the academics because, like I said, I am now in college. Like, I'm about to graduate my associates and I'm getting a BA in special ed. This never stopped me from being successful. So, just like how I was successful, children with SLD will also be successful. Thank you.